Okay, we're clapping?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to TATalkSex. On today's episode, we are talking about Usher getting sued for having herpes.
Oh no.
And what to do, dads, when your sweet little girl has turned into one hot piece of ass, and how to deal with that. You're listening to TATalkSex.
I'm T.
And I'm A.
Welcome to episode 146.
Sex works.
Sex, yeah. Welcome to episode 146 because sex isn't ever just about sex.
No, darling, it's not.
All right.
So I just wanted to note that this is our first episode that we're doing video.
Yes, we are. I mean, like we've dabbled with, like live feeds here and there, but yeah, we're giving it a go without big mics in front of our faces.
Yeah. So if it sounds different to all of our audio listeners out there, that's why.
Yeah.
Quick insert here. If you guys actually want to view the video version, you can go to YouTube and search TATalkSex, and we will post it there. Also, that audio actually didn't record, so thank you in advance for your patience as we are dealing with technical growing pains. This is the audio from the iPhone camera. We will do better next time. Now, back to the show.
Okay, so sorry, where do Patreon?
Yes, hello. Okay, so guys, we started a new Patreon page. We're going to have a lot of bonus material there. We're doing a number of new things.
We're doing a lot. So actually, we're doing a fairly big shift over to Patreon where we're going to be putting up all of our content.
Yeah, our free
basically.
Content as well.
Our free content as well, although the free content will still be available everywhere else that you guys are listening. So don't worry about that. But I'm really excited about all the fun stuff that we're putting together. So there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
More about our personal lives.
Right, we're going to be doing a lot more vlog style stuff, some together, some separate, depending on what's going on in our lives.
I'm working on a pain-free period project for the ladies out there who are having issues.
Right, so we're going to have like additional projects and sort of series that are going to be going up. So if you want to get on board with all of that, you have to go to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/TATalkSex. And you can find us there. And we would love the support. Thank you in advance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready to talk about our topics?
Well, we have updates.
Oh, I love an update.
We have to keep everybody updated on what's going on.
Who did you fuck last week?
That's a funny story. I did get to use my butt plug again.
Oh my god, you're in love with it.
Oh my god, but I didn't tell you this. It almost got swallowed in my bum.
Oh my god, you almost ended up in the ER.
No. So if you guys remember from last episode, was it last episode? I talked about this new toy, which is a butt plug,
episode.
I loved it, and I was raving about this butt plug. I still am raving about this butt plug. It's one of those really cute rhinestone ones. I
imagined the rhinestone to be really big, like it could not go up your butt at all.
It's not like 6 inches in diameter. No, it's like it's like an inch.
Oh, I'm so glad we're doing video now so you can see this. I was like, oh, this gorgeous rhinestone that then like becomes this more narrow cone. That's what I envisioned.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but small.
It is, but not. You're literally going like 6 inches. Like, how is that even going to fit in between your butt cheeks? You can't have a 6-inch.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, so
I
anyway,
don't know.
Point is,
I just like big gems.
So as I was getting more aroused, and he was, like playing with it and, like wiggling it and whatever. But he was also, I didn't discover this until later, but he was also actually keeping it from going all the way in. And he was like sort of dirty talking in my ear, and he was like, oh, you're so turned on. It's getting, like, you're just like swallowing it up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't pay attention when people dirty talk because I'm in another universe.
Oh, really? You're not into it?
I know I'm into it. It just confuses me because I
had a funny moment.
I'm like, wait, I'm here. I can't translate words right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I had a really fun moment. Can I share?
You can,
but
just you have to come back to my butt plug story.
I will. I had a lover where we were having sex, and I think he gets turned on by dirty talk, so he like asked me to kind of, he said something like, well, does that feel good? And I was like, yeah. And then even though we were in like a more doggy style position, I said something like, "Yeah, I love it when your cock's down my throat," or something. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Wow, that really," do it. Yeah, he was like, "That excited me more than I imagined it would." Or imagined, I didn't know what I was gonna say. That's the point.
That's
no, I was really proud actually that that I really threw him with excitement. I mean, that's a thrill to excite someone like that. So there's so
spontaneously.
Yeah, it was authentic, right? Yeah. So authentic moments are beautiful.
Kudos. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah. So why did I bring that up? Oh,
I don't know. Dirty talk. So
dirty talk So
he was dirty talking, narrating I enjoy it. Yeah. I'm getting better at it too. Anyway, point is, butt plug almost got swallowed. And then I put my finger because he said something and I went back to touch it and I'm like, oh my god, it's almost gone. Like, am I okay? And he's like, you're fine. I'm making sure it's not going in. Yeah. And I had a little concern there.
That is scary.
So one thing to know that if you are hyper aroused, your body like can suck it up. I didn't know that. Now I know. Now you know.
I mean, it's interesting because I think about how I'm not a huge anal sex person.
Nor am I.
Conversations, but like the one partner who did like teach me and like that I practiced it with was on the larger side,
right.
With his anatomy, and so in that sense, it's like wow,
that's a lot.
You can, it expands and it comes back together.
The anus comes back together. Anyway, so that's my story. What's your update?
My update, I guess, is like bittersweet. I feel like you've been having all these fun stories.
No. That was. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I've been having like like I feel like there's been sort of like a clearing out of people and like new people coming in. Well, actually, hopefully there'll be new people coming in, but there's been sort of a clearing out. And one person I sort of was starting to develop like a bond with, and I was really liking him, and I don't know, I was excited for the future. And then I went on this big family vacation through the Baltic states, and when I came back, we met up, and I think we had like an honest talk. Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny, I went to a radical honesty workshop the night before. I postponed our date for it, and then we went out.
Which is probably a good idea.
I know.
Gave you fuel for the conversation.
It gave me fuel, and it also, I think it gave him fuel, because I said, I'm going to this radical honesty workshop, and of course that makes you think about, like, am I being honest?
Yeah.
And we had to kind of confront that we wanted different things.
Oh.
I know.
But that's good. That's good, though. It's good that you sort of nip it in the bud and get it earlier rather than, like, deluding yourself.
Like, we should have had the conversation even from the get-go.
Well, no. I mean, it depends on if you know. It depends on how much you know what you want and how much you think this person might not be on board. I mean, there's going to be an exploratory process.
Yeah, the early phase, like, is this a match? And yeah.
Right.
And,
but if you're starting to get signs like, oh, we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
And
we sort of had a heart. Yeah, exactly. And we were like lamenting the truth of it, but it was like, yeah, we just
sweet. Yeah, you're a lovely person, but.
I know.
Aww.
Yeah, and I got home and I have to say I was really heart-stricken. Like,
really?
I felt it in my heart very intensely. And I was like, okay, like, deep breathe, take some deep breaths, kind of meditate it out. And
we can be heartbroken. It does. It does happen.
Actually, a friend asked me that once. She's like, do you feel anything? How do you do it? How do you have these lovers? And I was like, yeah, I sometimes I have like what I call like the bloodletting of like they'll be like, I remember once I had like 3 heartbreaks in a row, because I had multiple lovers, and I was like, that's a lot for me. Takes 3 to break me, but I can be broken.
Yeah, but yours are mini heartbreaks. They're not like.
I mean, one of them took me
big.
Out of the running, and I still had lovers, but it took me a while to get back to orgasming regularly and stuff like that. I mean, it was.
Yeah. Well, I
was a
think
real
that's
sucker
natural.
punch.
I think that's natural.
It is natural, and I think that's what's important. It's fine to go through these processes.
I find that the older I get, the more susceptible I am to heartbreak, actually. But I think this is also because I'm in this place in life where I'm like super, super open. Like my heart is like so ready to give in like every capacity that if I do so even just a little bit, it like
hurts if you don't get what you need back.
Right, yeah. So, which doesn't deter me. I carry on.
I just want my mother to do the same.
I just noticed, I'm like, oh, like when I was in France.
It's the same.
Oh my God, I've never experienced anything like it. Oh my god, it was the worst. You guys, I was like, this is what the movies talk about.
Yeah, but maybe that's also your maturity in taking the time to process it and allow it to be. When I was younger, I had heartache.
I think I always have done that, but
I know that I think about an ex, my first like ex, I would say my first ex. Oh no, it was dramatic. It's dramatic. That's why I want to do my stand-up comedy show. I don't think I'll actually call it this anymore, but for a long time I was like, when I have a headlining show, it's going to be called It Wasn't Love, It Was Lactose. And what happened is during the breakup, my friend, I'd eaten dairy, and I'd had this like cake and coffee and all that stuff that like caused like a huge like stomach ache, and I was like had sweats, and like I thought that it was
you thought it was
him.
a breakup.
And I was like, oh, I'm so sad. Like I was like yelling at him on the phone, and then my friend met up with me after, and I ended up like vomiting and stuff, and I was like, oh my god,
I feel so much better.
yeah, I was like, it was the food that I ate this morning that I'm
That's
allergic to.
Hilarious. If only every heartbreak could end in that story. Nope, just gas. Nope,
Yeah.
just lactose.
But I had more denial about the heartbreak. So the next
Right.
boyfriend, I was like, I'm like, whatever, he's done. You know, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm fine. We weren't even in a relationship. But it was still hurting.
Yeah.
So owning
It's
that.
youth.
Yeah.
So,
On to our topic?
Yes, moving on. Okay,
Coffee.
so kind of to go back to last week's episode where we talked, we discussed a listener's email.
Yes, in our Ask TNA episode.
Yes, who had asked a lot of questions about STIs and birth control and all kinds of stuff. So
For
go
any
back and listen to
latecomers,
that
STI
if you
is
want.
what STDs used to be. Okay, go ahead.
Right, more PC. And so we had another listener write in comment to that, which I wanted to share because so it was a few points that he wanted to bring up.
Oh,
that
it's
he
so
thought were
good.
important. Yeah.
So I'm going to read a little email.
She's going to read it, and then so we just want to cap off this sort of episode, and we want to talk about Usher and herpes. So it's sort of like an STI
It was
theme.
perfect timing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she asked the question, and now we're talking about that.
So here's the email.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. We love when our listeners write in. Oh,
Hint.
advice at TATalkSex.com. We will reply to your emails. Okay. I'm reading all of it. Yes. Hey, I enjoyed your latest show about STIs. Thanks. Your Starbucks story was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Go listen to it.
Okay. One thing that you guys might want to mention, because I rarely hear it anywhere else, is that condoms are not a good protection against getting herpes. That's because the herpes virus is transmitted via skin contact, not fluid exchange, and can be active on areas that are not covered by a condom. Also, the person...
Oh God.
Also, the person could be contagious but show no symptoms at all, so you won't see any sores or anything. The reason I bring this up is because I feel that a lot of people think just by throwing on a condom they are totally protected. But then if they end up getting herpes, they feel like shit because they thought they were doing everything right. I feel that the whole safe sex campaign is giving people, especially someone new to having sex, like this young woman who wrote you, the wrong message. Sex with a stranger is always going to be risky, but each individual will have to weigh the risks. I think a better campaign would be safer sex. This would reinforce the idea that there is some risk, but this risk can be minimized, not eliminated with the use of condoms, etc. This way, I feel that it would lessen the stigma for people who do end up getting an STI, STD. Right now, we're taught that if you get an STI, that you must have done something wrong, and that's what creates the culture of shame around discussing it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I think it would be so much healthier to shift that perspective from, instead of trying to keep ourselves so pure, like the right thing is that we're never going to get anything, let's shift it. What if we just all assume that at some point we're going to get something? Doesn't that, I mean, it literally shifts your biochemistry, and you're like, huh, it's okay. Like, not like you're going to be irresponsible, but I think it does.
No, but when you just said that, I felt fear.
That you're going to get something?
Yeah. I know, but I get your point. No, I get your point, but I like what he says, which is safer sex, which is, to engage with someone new, I mean, there is risk. But this is back to, we said it on the last episode, I said it several times, which is just like getting in your car to go to the grocery store is a risk. Right. So I don't think it's don't have sex. It's know what the challenges are and be smart about it. And if you get something, there are so many treatments out there that it's manageable.
Right, but I'm yes, and specifically with I just worry that our last listener who wrote in, whose initial email we were addressing, I just worry she's going to like hear this and panic
And be like,
You
I'm
know
not
what?
having sex, I'm trying to go to the covers.
Oh my god, a condom's not even gonna help me, and I can still get it.
Good
you know
point.
what I mean?
Anyone who's freaking out right now, like 3 deep breaths. Do you have let's talk a little bit about that.
I don't know what to say other than you just,
No, but
you
about
can only do what you can do.
herpes and the way that you can get it, like,
Oh, right.
the truth is, right, like if someone had an outbreak, the rash kind of on the, the base of their,
Well, it could be anywhere.
right, but like say it's at the base of your, what am I talking about?
The
Your
pelvic
penis.
floor for a man.
Thank you, yes.
But you can also have it on the head. You can have it anywhere.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, so, right, but usually, like, so a condom covers the shaft. So
I
if
see.
you're exposed there and, your vagina is
Right on his,
there.
right? If you're, like, really getting there, yeah.
Well,
okay.
I like to, because I like
Right.
rub the clitoris.
Me too, yeah.
That's good intel to have. You want to, like, share that someone has herpes.
You can still, and so this is what he was saying, like, you can still be, you can, if you have, it's still contagious even though there isn't a sore. Not
theory.
100%. In theory, is it always contagious? There's no straight rules about it. So.
I do have a memory of a friend that, that got herpes, and also I think that her experience was someone that, for her, there aren't obvious sores. I think that her health wasn't great when it happened.
Right.
And I always kind of emphasize that. Like, I think people feel very like there's no rhyme or reason to it, but in my mind, there is. Like,
so she was already sort of down, like
her nervous system was run down, and and herpes lives. It's dormant in your, not dormant. It's active in your nervous system.
Right.
So,
look, I think it just boils down to do what you can to be safe, but there's no 100%.
And
safer sex, not safe.
Yeah.
Pure,
and I think that
sex.
We obviously advocate sex. I think. Well, that's an interesting point. You've sort of been on your thing about getting to know someone better. I'm like, but I value sex, and I think sex is very healthy in your life, and I think integrating it, whether it's with a monogamous partner or having multiple partners, I encourage sexual exploration. For example, the girl that wrote in, maybe she wants to, maybe for her to feel comfortable, she should seek a relationship where they make an agreement that they are monogamous in their sexuality, at least, and for that sense of safety.
Yeah, maybe.
Have these conversations if that's your fear.
Right. If you can't get a
Yeah.
I think that's
I
good advice.
had a really great experience at Intimacy Fest that I went to, and we did exercises around talking about your sexual history with your partner. So a new sexual partner, and it's like, hi, I'm Christina. I was tested. Oh, I was tested like a week ago. and
so was I.
Yeah, exactly. So I was clear for everything, including HPV. That's really exciting. I have had it in the past, and I'm clear. And I was just tested. I think that's it. And also you specify, like, I'm, I guess you'd say, like, cisgender, like I have heterosexual sex, occasionally with a woman.
This was for like a very like sexual liberation, polyamory kind of group,
But it's the point is to practice it, like to confront and discuss with someone that you're going to have sex with, to say, just so we're on the same page. Like, I do have sexual partners, like I'm not monogamous, I'm, whatever, I'm, just so you're on the same page. So say you do contract something, you're able to go, hey, I think you might be the source. And like, it's just an open flow conversation.
Right.
So safer sex.
Safer sex.
Which brings us to...
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so literally a couple days later, this whole... I don't know if you guys read... Do you want me to read it? This Usher
what
article.
is it here? Please.
Okay, so reading the Usher article, this is from therap.com. Okay, the title is Usher to be sued by 3 people accusing him of not disclosing STD before sex.
Okay.
Dun dun dun. Okay.
I used STD
Here we go.
instead of STI.
Okay, attorney Lisa Bloom announced on Twitter Friday that she will be filing a lawsuit on behalf of 3 people against R&B star Usher, who is being accused of failing to disclose that he had genital herpes at the time they had sexual contact.
No!
Bloom tweeted out the announcement, which says there will be a press conference Monday, this is past Monday, where one accuser will speak. The other 2 accusers are named as Jane Doe and John Doe. Many news organizations have recently reported that musician Usher was diagnosed with herpes in approximately 2009 and in 2012 settled a case with a woman who claimed he transmitted the disease to her. The press release says Usher has not publicly denied these claims. The accusers, according to the Bloom firm statement, all allege that Usher had sexual contact with them after 2012 and failed to warn them of his alleged STD as required by law. I did not know that was a law.
Wait, really? What?
Apparently, as required by law, failed to warn them of his alleged STD as required by law.
Well, I guess if someone contracts, you can sue them for giving it to you. You know, this happened to poor Robin Williams.
Let me just make sure that is...
He was also a herpes transmitter.
Really?
and got sued.
Really?
Mm.
So here, did he settle?
I don't know.
Because here's the thing. So he settled, so when he was sued in 2012, he settled the case, which kind of was like, when I initially was reading this, I'm like, oh, well then, he's admitting guilt.
Exactly. Wait,
but of course that's not. I'm thinking like, fuck, man, if someone was suing me for that, you just wanna get that out of your life, silence it, and move the F on. So of course I'm thinking, okay.
A lot of lawsuits are brought to wealthy people.
Exactly.
Wealthy,
so there's that.
people.
So listen, I'm all for like, let's take responsibility for our sexuality. However, there are money grubbers out there.
Yeah, but this is almost like, sorry.
No,
if we like assume someone's a money grabber, also it reminds me a bit about like when a rape case comes forward and
this is
people
why
are
I
like,
prefaced it with
yeah,
this.
but
she's just going after the.
She's going with money. You're like, maybe he's just a rapist.
Yeah, but okay. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what.
No, but let me say this.
I guess I'm just. Yeah. Go ahead.
That is a lot of like herpes transmission. Like, why is he so contagious? Maybe I'm like, I just feel like you don't give herpes that easily.
Yeah.
Like, is he not taking care of himself? He's having outbreaks and he doesn't know it.
Are you having sex while you're having outbreaks? And if you are one of these girls who got it,
they're not practicing safe sex. I don't know.
I mean, again, from the email we just read, you can get herpes by
but every time. I mean, what he's
I know. This is what I'm saying. Like, it just sounds like this is way against the odds. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm like, really? You gave it to 4 women? I feel like you could be like, I know. Look, now we're just speculating. By the way, there's no science here happening. I just want to be clear on that. But I'm my personal opinion. I'm like,
doesn't sound realistic, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like just like it's not like holy water I'm sprinkling on you. Like, I feel like it's harder to guarantee that like all of your lovers are gonna get it. Ooh, that's a good question though. Statistically, how many lovers is he having in a year? So then if you did the math,
that maybe
is 4 actually a low count?
Maybe. I guess
that's really funny.
One of my
yeah. If he has like 500 lovers in a year,
that's true. Then 4 would be reasonable. Okay. My question is, what does this mean for the STI / herpes positive community? Does it mean anything, or just STIs in general?
Right. Like you mean
the stigma of STIs?
Yes, the way that it emphasizes a stigma, rather than kind of talking openly about it.
Because honestly, I didn't know about the Robin Williams case, and so for me, I'm like, oh, great, people are talking about it. This is going to start a conversation. Usher, I am sorry that you had to be the person who's like nailed on the cross for this. However, I think the benefit could be great because hey, if Usher has something.
I remember reading someone found like Paris Hilton's antiviral, medication for herpes as well, and that kind of made like the media spin. But this was really? Years ago, so you're right. Like I wonder if there's, has the stigma lessened? No, because we researched that young woman who came out publicly about it, and then she got like heckled online.
Yeah, her Twitter name is Bros Pros. That's all. I can't think of her actual name right now.
Yeah, but she's really doing great work. I mean, it was her mission to...
Yeah, she's speaking out and
yeah, to normalize or destigmatize, like, living with herpes.
Right. And that life exists after herpes.
Yeah.
So what was my other question about this was, this whole thing, like, to sue someone for having an STI, so
Really
given
stigmatizes it more.
Yes, and I guess...
Is criminalizing it. Is going,
yes, this is what I'm saying. It's like, and it sort of starts this witch hunt, and when you have a lot of people who, it's almost like there's this polar thing happening where you have we have a Tinder, you know, and like sexual liberation, this whole sexual revolution that's happening. At the same time, we have people who are super hyper paranoid and kind of scared scared and worried about getting pregnant, STIs, and dirty,
and putting the blame on this person who has,
So I worry about that this is going to be a validation in some way for all of that. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a really good point. Like, it comes back to the fact that you and I talk a lot about how sex is really integral to being a human, and that you have a richer, fuller life experience if you're able to integrate it into your identity. Mm-hmm. And so things like criminally suing and winning a lawsuit for contracting something like herpes villainizes it, and also says that to contract it is worthy of well, it's
like, you're so dirty, and now I can it's almost like, yeah, like you're this awful person, and now, like, I'm going to sue you on top of it.
Right. So it's not...
Or worthy of being...
Yeah, it's not... I guess it's not... You're not criminalized, because it's like a... What do you call it? Lawsuit? When it's like... Civil, yeah. But it is... I guess it's assigning blame.
Right.
It's assigning blame.
Technically there is.
But isn't it interesting... because he didn't
wasn't
disclose.
Disclosing it, like, before sex, being honest and giving them the choice to engage or not.
Right.
That would be their choice, you know.
Interesting.
How do
you create evidence for that, though? It's like, I texted you, I have herpes. No one texts, right? It's like a conversation before you...
Right.
Like,
that would be he said, she said, right?
How genitals touch. Although, you know, whatever. If he didn't say, you know, that's an interesting problem.
One thing that I hope is positive about this is that, okay, maybe it does incite some fear of, like, what's going to happen if I don't have this conversation with my partner, like we had talked about earlier. So maybe this inspires or encourages folks to have that conversation and to also be ready to be on the receiving end of that conversation. You know what I mean? It just sort of loosens everything up around having that talk.
Yeah. Well, right. I think that I in culture, like, I struggle with the way that we have, like, a punitive society, which is like, oh, this happened and you're to blame, so let's punish you. I want to move...
Yeah, but it's so much easier because we don't have to take responsibility for anything.
Right. I would like to move away from punishing, because what would be healthier is like, oh, okay, this incident happened. I guess what we're doing now with our show is, you know, saying, hey, here's an opportunity to have the sex conversation. And if you're the receiving end of it also, don't be that poo-poo person who, like, you know, sneers at it and, like, gets horrified and villainizes the person that has it. But yeah, if you're not ready to engage and you're worried about contracting something, then, you know, I think both sides have to be respectful of the fact that you're not going to have sex.
Yeah. So I just thought it was very interesting timing that this article came out when we were talking about this.
Yeah, that it came up with our
right,
our past show. Well, we've talked a lot about it, so listen to that one.
Yes.
And, you know, we encourage you to take chances with safer sex and have the conversation, but nobody's immune.
Right. So hopefully, let's get off STIs. I feel like we've been talking about them forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Wrap up. So are we going to take a break and then come back? Or how are we doing on time?
Yeah.
Take a break? We'll take a break. Take a break.
Okay,
and then when we come back, we'll talk about dads. How do you deal with your sweet little girl turning into a hot piece of ass walking around your house in nothing?
Little shorts.
Apparently some guys are having issues with that.
The topic's coming up a lot.
I know. So we are going to address it next after this break.
Yes. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/TATalkSex.
You can find us on Instagram and all the social media at TATalkSex. Also, I want to shout out our personal Instagram. You can find T at Cree Hepburn. That's CHRI. And you
Hepburn.
Hepburn, like famous Hepburn. And you can find me at The Real Stephanie Allen. And we're on Instagram mostly. Okay, break.
Ciao.
See you.
TATalkSex. I'm T.
And I'm A. And we were just chatting over the break. I'm like, I feel like we're leaving everybody off with like, what do we do about herpes?
Yeah, a wet blanket about,
So one last little button to put on this, and I swear we'll drop the conversation, is that change really, the only way I think to really change this whole situation is to really shift each of our own perspectives. So you listening and you listening, like think about what judgments and what fears you have around either getting herpes or having a partner who has herpes, or whatever judgments you have around it. Like if you think it's dirty, if you think that what it means about someone who has it, to really take some time to really look at those and try to massage them out. Because if we can each get over our own judgments, then we can actually
have honest conversations
without each of us being, terrified of the whole sex history.
Yeah, being afraid to speak up if they are, carrying that virus.
So the power is in each one of us. Let's do it.
Yay!
Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Okay. Now this really kind of bizarre situation.
Yeah. How did it come up?
Okay, so I read something a friend posted, referencing a gentleman who had written in to like a Dear Abby site.
Okay.
And he was basically saying that he was a stepfather to a young woman, a girl who had grown up 5 years prior. So she was like 8 years old when he married her mother.
I think 11.
Yeah, okay. And and prepubescent. And, he took on the father role, and he's, cuddles a lot with the children, and there's a lot of physical affection.
The other father's out of the picture.
Yeah, so he's dad.
Father figure.
But he identifies as the dad. And since then, she has flourished through puberty, and she is thriving and attractive, and she'll still leap on him for a good cuddle.
She's 16 now.
Yeah, in maybe little shorts and kind of like little sexy outfit. That maybe she doesn't think of as sexy, and he's getting turned on. Actually, that's even the wrong word. He's not turned on, but his body is responding, and he's experiencing an erection, like he's getting a hard on.
He's aroused.
Yeah, and he doesn't. I think to his credit, he's being honest about the situation. He's like, I don't know what to do because I don't want to hurt her feelings by suddenly telling her she can't touch me anymore,
or they can't cuddle, or have
we can't be physically affectionate, but he's also freaked out and doesn't want to alarm her or anyone, right? I mean, I think he's probably freaking himself out. He's like, am I dirty that I'm aroused? So we got to talking, and and kind of a lot of stories came up, and you've had some conversations around that. It was like, wow, this is a thing. I never thought about it.
Well, first of all, I wanted to bring it on the show because I think that, I've thought about that as for guys myself. I'm like, wow, do dads deal with this? Because I could see this being we're animal bodies. I just thought about this in my life before. And then I have heard about it from different, clients who talk about their daughters or whatnot. And so I want to share this man's story to sort of normalize this. Kind of like, when you're a kid. I'm not saying it's okay to act on it, folks.
No, of course
right? Not. But I'm just saying, to have these reactions, right?
This brings us back to arousal is real. And I think we're so afraid of it in this culture. It's like, you're aroused, you're a bad person. And it's like, no. The body experiences arousal. This is the thing of, there's cases of women orgasming when they're raped. And then they're like, oh my God, now Like they're
what does that mean?
yeah, and I'm
about
like,
me?
your
And it's
body.
like, your body's built to orgasm. Your
Yeah.
body's built to have an erection. Like it's, and so this is
Well
why,
said.
yeah. So this is why I'm like, so in my personal philosophy about life, I feel like, you know, we have an animal body and we have this other part of ourselves, at least this one other part of ourselves, which is our mind, our consciousness, our soul, whatever you want to call it. And the body is the body, and it will do what it is meant to do. That doesn't mean anything about.
Tell me some of these stories about your
Yeah.
clients, like, because I immediately thought of how, you know, my dad raised me, and I have memories of when I was really, mostly my dad raised me. Love you, Mom. I feel so guilty when I say that. But many years I lived with my dad, and he, you know, when I was a kid, I had a lot of like separation anxiety from my mom and the divorce and all that. So I would sleep in my dad's bed for years at a very young age, and I know a lot of people thought that was weird or judged him.
Like,
but
until what age did you sleep in his bed?
Probably like from 5 to 7.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, but that's an age where people are like,
Oh, that's too.
are you
old.
molesting her?
Oh.
Seriously, that's the, you know, and then I don't mean to undermine people who have had those unfortunate experiences either.
But when were your parents divorcing? At that age, right?
Yeah, they separated, maybe I was 6, so maybe 6 to 8,
so-
I don't know, you know. But I had separations, I was hysterical, you know, I had like separation issues, and I didn't want to sleep alone, you know, I was afraid, so I slept in his room. And often I would end up kicking him and stuff, and I'd wake up and he'd be in my room, you know, I'd start crying, and
Oh.
yeah, and he's like, well, I was trying to get a night's sleep. Anyway, so my point being that there was definitely
social
a
pressure.
cultural stigma. Yeah. It was like, okay,
Well-
don't tell everyone that you're sleeping in my bed, right? Like
Right,
that's
right.
that weird thing.
Right. So I've had one client told me he talked about how his daughter he was talking about how beautiful his teenage daughter is, who was, I think, maybe 15 or 16 at the time, and he's like, yeah, I've grown up with my kids showering with me all the time. Nudity is a common, we just roam around nude, not like all the time, but like if you're going from your bedroom to the bathroom, it's okay to be naked, kind of a
I
thing,
think
you know?
that's
Like,
kind of nice. I mean, I had a friend that
too.
grew up that way. I was not like that in our household, but
I would say I'm actually kind of surprised because he's very like uptight, you know, kind of.
he is.
Yeah,
okay,
like-
funny.
like-
yeah, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
You're
like,
running around
oh,
naked
I'm
with
like,
your family?
I'm so impressed. So anyway, so his daughter she was accustomed to showering with him, and then but she was even continuing to shower in her teens as she's starting to develop, and he just actually sort of commented like, yeah, I see her body developing, and she's got these like amazing tits and like this great, you know, not like, again, not like he's gonna do anything. It's just like, wow, my daughter is like becoming this
can't deny
phenomenal
it.
woman, you know. And so it's like, where do you draw the line? And I think you do at some point.
Well, I
draw
liked,
the
you know,
line.
I read this one person's comment said, I thought this was an interesting point. We all have developmental phases. And so differentiating like, hey, mommy gets to poop with the door closed now, you know, at age whatever. I don't know, when does that happen? Age 7, or is it, you know, privacy. We get to have privacy. So, you know, her opinion was just have the conversation. Hey, honey, you know, you're going through puberty, and at that point we kind of stop, you know, showering together, or... But it is a mourning phase. I think she even said that. She's like, you know, there is obviously emotions around it, and it can be so maybe it is just a shedding of a skin. It's a phasing out. It makes me a little sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anecdote, I have this funny memory when I think about it. I had an older brother who I joke that I like love, you know, I'm like in love with my brother. That's always like tease about it.
Do you have like a brother issue? Like a big,
Yeah, like a brother fixation.
not like a daddy issue?
Yeah, I don't have a daddy fixation. I have an older brother fixation. And love ya. No, I'm just kidding. Poor thing. Anyway, you know, and we share the same birthday. Anyways, you know.
Which is, I think that's awesome. Like,
I
that's-
know, me too.
these are, like,
It's just kindred.
soul- yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on a ski trip with my siblings.
How old were you?
I think I was a freshman in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's kind of on the older side. And he's 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
I have this distinct memory. I mean, I remember I was so embarrassed. I pretty much tucked it away like it never happened. I'm sure he is too. So glad we're recording it now. But I remember it was like we woke, you know, my sister woke us all up, and it was freezing cold to go skiing, and I like ran to, he was still in bed, and I took that as like, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm not getting out of bed either. Like I and I leaped into the bed with him to like cuddle to get warm.
Yeah.
And I went to kind of be the smaller spoon, and I pressed myself against him. So my hips, my bum pressed against where his crotch is, and he definitely was like, ah! And not to peek, sorry. And like pushed back, and I just remember being like, what's that about? Like I didn't, it never even occurred to me.
Yeah.
I think I was still a virgin then too. Like I was,
Right.
morning wood. I don't probably.
Yeah.
We didn't discuss it. He was like horrified, and I'm sure it was his own embarrassment.
Yeah.
But it was that same idea of like, okay, like you
boundaries.
Yeah,
boundaries.
Yeah.
We're now adults. We're not like young kids. So
but it was a sad moment.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the morning thing, but so I also had a. This is sort of embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. Tell it, share.
Sorry, I was 15, so I have 3 brothers and moi, and so we were a very physical household. We always cuddled and wrestled and played with each other.
Yeah, we did a lot of pile-ons.
Yeah, puppy piles and stuff. And so my brother, we're quite close in age. I was 15 or so, and he was 16 and a half, and he was very sexually active. I was still a young nubile virgin. And and
we all are at some
right. So I remember being like we had started wrestling or fighting, like kids do, and then he was like joking with me or something, and then he like, pinned me down and like totally as a joke just started like sort of dry humping me, like
mock humping,
but there was physical.
Do people find this weird? I used to, as a joke, like hump one of my best friends. I used to always go to their house, and their sister, she'd be like sleeping, and I'd like run into the room and like jump on her and like hump her as a joke, and be like ha ha ha, So I feel like it's like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was just it was a total joke. He did not mean it in any, like, he was just being a goofy, ridiculous.
There was no sexual intention.
Not at all.
And he wasn't violating you in that way.
Not at all. However, I had never had a man on top of me. I had never had a man sort of in between my legs a bit,
And he's like at the puberty stage.
He's at the, right. And so for me, my body reacted, and I was like, oh, I'm like, even the rhythm of having a body hump you was totally new. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is what it's like,
Wow, yeah.
But I did feel sort of aroused a bit.
Yeah,
and then I was so like, oh my God, that's disgusting,
Yeah,
and then I'm
sibling.
Totally. So I'm like, come to and like, whatever, and push him on, and it was
pretend
fine.
like it didn't happen.
Totally. And for him, he like doesn't even know this story, because I never told him that I had these sensations. Same kind of thing though. It was like, I'm not in love with my brother. I don't want to have sex with my brother, but it was just this physical thing where my 15-year-old body had a man's body on top of it, making these motions, and it was physically responding without my mind interfering,
Yeah.
So,
good job. That is like an intense story.
But
no, but you know what's interesting too
is
that's the developmental phases too, where people are learning about sexuality and they're learning boundaries. And so actually this is probably a really important moment for the father to create a healthy, polite boundary in a way. Like it's not, whoa, don't touch me, and then you both kind of freeze up and don't talk about it. I think maybe it is having some sort of awkward conversation, but like that is, identifying that your body's changing and you're now entering this new phase of sexuality,
I think,
right? I don't know. I mean, it's...
I think first of all, like if I imagine being that guy in that position, it's like, it depends on how you are. Like if you're super hypersensitive and you're getting aroused at any little thing with her, that's one thing. Then you are gonna have to create that boundary, even if you don't. I think you can create the physical boundary without making her feel full rejection of like, oh, physicality is not okay, period.
Yeah.
I think you can have physicality in other ways,
You brought up a really good point before we were on the show,
Yes. Yeah.
which is
arousal, how we deal with arousal.
How we deal with arousal and why arousal is happening when it happens in certain ways. And are you taking care of your sexuality
right
in your everyday life? Do you have a healthy sexual identity. I'm really into this phrase, developing your sexual identity. Because if you have, and you are taking care of your own needs, maybe that arousal issue is...
Maybe you're not such a trigger.
Yes, you're not triggering when anyone touches you.
Like, are
even
you having
your
sex?
hot young daughter.
Are you getting affectionate touch? Are you getting cuddled? From your partner? If touch was more of a normal part of your everyday life, maybe this
touch
wouldn't be such an
arousing.
Issue, you know?
I think that's 100% true. As a professional cuddler, there is kind of a max out point. You can saturate and hit your limit for how much physical touch you need, which is a beautiful thing. I say that in a positive way because I think we think of it like we currently don't integrate enough touch in our daily life, and there actually is a max out point. So my point being, when I'm getting enough touch and I'm actually engaging with a lot of people, I don't have this yearning or this hankering where any sort of touch sends a chill up my body. I'm able to be much more in control and intentional with who I want to be touching and when I want to be aroused.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
It's amazing. It's mastery of your body in that sense.
Right.
And I don't think, like, for me, that's a new experience to really hit, like, oh, I got enough touch for today.
Right. So then it becomes more, everything's a choice. It's not like a compulsion or a need or hunger that's driving you in any way.
So many of us are living in a compulsion state because we are not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We are starved for touch.
Right.
You are starved for touch. I'm guessing. Just guessing.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, anything else on that?
No, to me that's like a really important nugget. Like I almost want, again, you're starved, like getting enough touch. I don't, it's like not talked about, but
and if you aren't, go see a provider. Go see a cuddlist.
Yeah.
Go see a central masseuse.
Right. It doesn't have to be your partner if your partner can't provide that. Right. It doesn't mean that your relationship isn't working.
With your partner.
I think a couple can go to a cuddlist as well.
Yeah. Or
a cuddle person. I mean, there's different cuddle organizations, but to learn how to kind of take care of each other in that nurturing way as well.
Yeah.
To make sure they're getting enough touch. And I think that differentiation also about like cuddling. Yeah. Honestly, if he's getting those erections, I think that he probably needs to take care of himself more in his satisfaction.
I think also, I mean, I don't have a penis, so I don't know how strong this is. But
right, how much of it's just like a function.
I mean, if you can just do some mental retraining, probably is ridiculous.
Right, no, I mean, arousal, like sensation happens, but look, in the cuddle world, there's actually a whole conversation around like, oh, you're experiencing arousal, let's change positions. Like that's a very intentional conversation because the first thing everyone always asks is, how do you deal with the guy who's trying to have sex with you? And I'm like, well, we have open conversations about how this is non-sexual physical touch.
Which you can't have with your 16-year-old daughter.
Right.
Okay.
But you can say, hey, why don't we change positions? So instead of her being the little spoon, which is probably going to create arousal, maybe even as a joke, you could be like, I want to be the little spoon. And make her spoon you.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I like this. I like it.
Change
what do you guys
positions.
think? Do got dads out there? Do you deal with this? And also, do moms deal with this?
Yeah, right. Because your sons can become young, strapping fellows as well. I'm thinking like when they're like glistening in the pool.
Right. Like I'm thinking the beach. Yeah.
That's when I get turned on by underage boys. No,
I did have this Mrs. Robinson moment where.
What?
Yeah. Because I told you I was spending time in Southern California, San Diego area, and there was all these like young teens everywhere, and I mean,
they're hot.
Yeah, the girls are hotter than the guys because they're just more mature, physically speaking. A lot of the guys can be like really little.
Yeah,
but there are
college
like,
boys,
hot young guys out there, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, how old? I'm 20 years older than these guys.
You are?
Am I? I'm no. Okay, maybe.
Whatever.
If the guy's 15 and I'm 34, what is that? Close.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. I'm like, oh my god, that's so inappropriate. I'm very inappropriate. I love it. I am Mrs. Robinson now.
Yeah, but here's the point is like, I don't think seeing it or observing it is wrong. That's not a problem.
Yeah, it's just, that's an attractive young man.
Yeah.
Who will become more attractive down the road.
Yeah, maybe don't act on it. You know what's crazy?
Like,
that's the French president, though. Macron and his wife. I mean, his wife met him as she was his teacher, his theater teacher.
Oh.
I don't think they
That was
had the affair
French.
while he was a
That was
student,
French.
but he like came after her. He actually targeted her, and she was still married. I mean, it's a crazy story.
I did not know this.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I did not
if
know
you
this.
didn't know
I'm
that,
gonna
look
read
it up. Yeah, it's a remarkable story.
Okay, so we want to hear. I would love to hear from you parents out there if you've experienced this with your kids.
Yeah,
can
if you have
write
some
us.
ideas.
Write us at advice@TATalkSex.com. If you have ideas or experience in dealing with this, I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who would love to know how you've dealt with it. If you have I don't know, do I want to open that up to it? I don't think you should have judgment around it.
No, we're anti-judgment.
Forget that. If you have it, deal with it. I don't want to hear about it.
Ah,
Love you.
Yeah, exactly. We love all, even the judgmental. On that note, yeah, that's our show. That's episode 146. Because sex isn't ever just about sex.
And kudos to us on our first video episode. Okay, all right.
Check out us Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com, TATalkSex. Social media, TATalkSex. It's challenging. Personal, Cree Hepburn, CHRI for Christina Hepburn.
And I'm at The Real Stephanie Allen. There you go. Okay. Ciao for now. See you next week.
You're listening to TNA Talk Sex. I'm T.
And I'm A.